Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow now. Let's get started. WWE Hall of Famer Trish Stratus told Triple H she wants a major shakeup in the women's division not long ago. The Stamford-based promotion's chief content officer is none other than the Game. Triple H has been instrumental in the success of World Wrestling Entertainment. The company's weekly programs and premium live events have been setting records, indicating that it is functioning on a different level. Beginning in 2025, the Stamford-based promotion will be able to use one of its largest arrangements to yet with Netflix to increase viewership of Monday Night Raw. Wrestling icon Trish Stratus recently voiced her desire for a major shakeup at the business, despite the success of the present roster under the King of Kings. In a recent interview, Stratus brought attention to the fact that women in the field of professional wrestling in 2024 had many more chances than they had in her day. Beyond the amazing battles that women fight in today, Trish wants the Triple H-led promotion to focus on greater character development. Hall of Fame WWE wrestler Trish Stratus expressed her desire to meet Tiffany Stratton in an interview at Comic-Con, stating that she believed the rivalry between the two would be entertaining to watch. Trish Stratus shown throughout her 2023 run that she's still a top contender in the ring. Who knows, maybe the Stamford-based organization will welcome the WWE Great back someday. Everyone agrees that Trish Stratus was a major player in the world of professional wrestling, and she is often considered one of the best female wrestlers of all time. By demonstrating that female wrestlers could hold their own against males in terms of popularity and the ability to produce bouts worthy of main events, Stratus helped shape the golden era of women's wrestling in the early 2000s. Stratus has maintained a tight relationship with WWE, even though she stopped competing full-time in 2006. She has made occasional visits and has since been an outspoken advocate for more improvements to the way women's wrestling is handled. Reportedly, Stratus has been pressuring Triple H, who is in charge of WWE's creative staff, to implement a huge reform that might transform women's wrestling in the company for the better in recent years. It is worth investigating what this change may be, why Stratus is pushing for it, and what it might imply for WWE's future now that Triple H is in charge of creative direction at WWE. A big change in the structure of women's wrestling could be coming soon. Looking back at WWE's history of women's wrestling may help us grasp the importance of Stratus's pleas for reform. Things were quite different for female artists when Stratus first aired in the year 2000. Short bouts involving women were common, with the men's divisions taking center stage and the women's roles limited to eye-candy moments. By competing in bouts that were as exciting, intense, and physically demanding as those in the men's division, Stratus and other trailblazers like Lita, Molly Holly, and Victoria sought to dispel this notion. Particularly noteworthy are Stratus's confrontations with Lita, which are often considered to be among the best in WWE history. Their 2004 encounter, which was the main event of Monday Night Raw, was a watershed moment. Both ladies broke ground by becoming the first female wrestlers to headline WWE's main event, setting a precedent for decades to come. Since Stratus first retired, WWE has undergone a women's evolution, a shift that has elevated female wrestlers from the status of sideshow performers to that of genuine stars in the main event. Some notable events that took place at WrestleMania 35 include the first ever Women's Royal Rumble, the first ever Women's Hell in a Cell match, and the historic main event, which included the last bout of the year with Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey, and Charlotte Flair. The indisputable skill of the female wrestlers and the increasing audience desire for more respect for women's wrestling led to this change. Stratus, however, maintains the view that more effort is required in light of these developments. Although Stratus has not gone into depth about the specific change she wants to see, we may infer a few things from her previous statements and the present situation of women's wrestling. Stratus may be pushing for a reform that has long been a problem for female wrestlers and fans: equal screen time and match length for the women's division. The weekly programming of women's matches is sometimes neglected, despite the progress that has been achieved in this area. Aside from a few of the list performers, the women's bouts on Raw and SmackDown are usually hurried and feature little character development compared to the men's division, which receives the most of the attention and storylines. As an example, while Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, and Bayley, the four horsewomen, have had substantial character arcs and storylines, several other divisional members have challenges in obtaining substantial screen time. Stratus has always been a supporter of women's empowerment and the idea that every woman should have the chance to shine. Perhaps she is advocating for a more equitable system in which all of the roster's female wrestlers have equal opportunities to shine, just as the men do. Longer bouts, additional storylines, and giving mid-card female talent a chance to shine without being pushed to the sidelines by the same top-tier stars are all possibilities. Adding a women's mid-card championship is another possible adjustment that Stratus may be pushing Triple H to think about. The Women's Championship, Raw, and the WWE Women's World Championship, SmackDown, are the only two main singles championships in the women's division at the moment. Despite the prestige of these titles, many of the roster's great women don't have much to fight for, particularly if they aren't considered for the main event. More possibilities for female wrestlers to build stories and fight for important titles outside of the main title scene might be created by introducing a mid-card title, such as the United States Championship or the Intercontinental Championship for the men's division. To promote more women wrestlers and give them a sense of purpose on weekly programming, WWE may establish a tiered system in the women's division with an extra championship in play. The absence of a women's mid-card championship has long been seen by fans to be the division's Achilles' heel. When there are many titles for the male superstars to strive for, it keeps a number of wrestlers in the spotlight, even when they aren't competing for the global title. If the women's division followed a similar format, it would be a great place for rivalries, character growth, and talent showcases. Stratus could be quietly pushing for reforms, including equal remuneration for female performers. The problem of the gender wage gap among WWE superstars remains a problem, despite the company's efforts to elevate its women's division. Wrestlers' salaries were skewed in 2018, according to Forbes, with men like Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns earning millions a year, and top female performers like Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair earning far less, despite participating in stories and main events.